Hi, you are on the Revenge Eddie channel.
I used to think alcohol was just background noise in life. A beer after work, maybe two. A way to take the edge off. My father did it, his father did it, and I thought it was part of the script for men who worked with their hands, came home tired, and wanted something that dulled the aches. But what started as comfort turned into a cage. By the time I realized the bars were there, I was already locked inside. First tastes. I had my first drink at 16. A buddy swiped a six-pack from his dad's fridge, and we sat behind the high school bleachers. I gagged at the bitterness, but I laughed louder than I ever had. My chest felt warm, my nerves fell away. I didn't love the taste. I loved the way it made me forget myself. College never happened for me. I went straight into construction. Beer after work became as normal as punching a clock. At first it was weekends, then weeknights, then every night. By my early 30s I was buying liquor in bulk, telling myself it was cheaper. Really, it was survival, marriage and family. I married my high school girlfriend at 25. For years we built a life brick by brick. Small house, old truck, a daughter who became my whole world. At first, drinking was just part of socializing. My wife would roll her eyes when I cracked another beer but didn't press it. That changed after our daughter was born. Sleepless nights, money worries, endless overtime. I'd stumble in late, open the fridge, and instead of helping with bottles and diapers, I'd take one for myself. She noticed. She begged me to slow down. I promised I would. I broke those promises more times than I can count. One night she made spaghetti, our daughter giggling in her high chair. I was already buzzing when I sat down. My wife asked me to pass the bread. I dropped it, laughed too loud, and saw her face tighten. "You're not here," she said softly. Not for me, not for her. Our daughter's smile vanished. That silence at the table cut deeper than any argument. Work slipping away. On job sites, I'd always been the reliable one. Early mornings, heavy loads, the guy who stayed late to finish what others left undone. Alcohol chipped at that pride. I started showing up late, reeking of booze I thought gum could mask. My hands shook so bad I couldn't hold a level straight. One morning my boss pulled me aside. "You're one of my best guys," he said. "But you're slipping. Don't make me replace you." I nodded, promised to shape up, but that afternoon I drove straight to the liquor store. My body betrayed me too. Heartburn every morning. Tremors so bad I spilled coffee down my shirt. My doctor looked at blood work and frowned. "Your liver numbers are off the charts. You need to stop drinking." I lied about how much I consumed. He didn't believe me. Losing them. The day my wife left wasn't explosive. It was quiet, tired. She packed a suitcase, buckled our daughter into the car seat, and said, "We can't do this anymore." I stood in the driveway, hungover, clutching my coffee like it could anchor me. I wanted to run after them, fall to my knees, beg. Instead, I watched the taillights fade and opened a bottle. Addiction is cruel like that. You watch everything you love walk away, and still you choose the bottle. Rock bottom. Months blurred. I missed workdays, pawned tools for cash, ignored calls from my sister. One night I woke up in the ER. A neighbor had found me unconscious in the garage. Vomit on the floor, bottle still in my hand. I opened my eyes to fluorescent lights, and 4 in my arm. A nurse said, "You're lucky you didn't choke." I felt anything but lucky. My sister sat beside the bed. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. She didn't yell. She didn't need to. She just whispered, "You're killing us too." Something in me cracked open then. I thought of my daughter, growing up with memories of a drunk instead of a father. I thought of my wife explaining at school events why daddy wasn't there. I thought of a headstone with my name on it. And for the first time, I said the words, "I'm an alcoholic." Rehab, the hardest fight. Detox was hell. My body shook so violently I thought my bones would snap. Sweat drenched my sheets. Nightmares made me wake screaming. Nurses told me I wasn't dying, even when I swore I was. I sat in group therapy, folding chairs in a circle, coffee always burnt, stories spilling out like confessions. Men in suits, men in steel-toed boots, all broken in different ways but the same disease tying us together. Counselors pressed me. When did you start? What are you afraid of? I talked about my father's drinking, about thinking I wasn't enough, about how shame drove me deeper into the bottle. I hated the phrase, one day at a time. Then one night I nearly walked out, and an older guy with 20 years sober said, try 1 minute at a time. That saved me. Letters from home. My daughter sent me crayon drawings, stick figures holding hands, a heart over our heads. Love you, Daddy. I taped them to my wall. On the worst nights, when sweat and cravings broke me down, I stared at those letters until I remembered why I was there. My wife didn't write. Divorce papers came instead. Cut deep, but I knew she was right. She'd given me too many chances already. Back to the world. 90 days later, I walked out of rehab sober but terrified. The world was full of triggers. Billboards for beer, liquor stores on every corner, coworkers offering just one. I went to meetings, those same church basements smelling of coffee and dust. I sat in folding chairs, hands clenched, listening to people say my story with different details. I found a sponsor, a gruff guy who didn't let me wallow. Call me before you drink, he said. I called him 10 times in 1 week. He always picked up. Rebuilding. Work came back slowly. My boss let me return part-time, then full-time when he saw I showed up clear-eyed. Paychecks went to rent instead of liquor. I bought groceries without shame. My daughter visited every other weekend. At first she was shy, testing if I was really different. We watched movies, built Lego sets, walked to the park. One night she curled into my lap and whispered, I like you better now. I nearly broke into tears. That sentence was worth every sleepless night in detox. Lessons. Sobriety didn't hand me a perfect life. My marriage is over. My liver carries scars. Finances are tight. But sobriety gave me back the one thing I thought was gone. Myself. I learned asking for help isn't weakness. It's survival. I learned shame festers in silence, but honesty cracks it open. I learned my daughter's laugh is worth more than every bottle in every store. Now, when loneliness whispers, I lace up old running shoes and pound the pavement. I'm slow, clumsy, but every mile is a declaration. I'm here, today. It's been 18 months since my last drink. I wake clear. I cook pancakes on Sundays, always burnt at the edges, but my daughter eats them like they're 5-star. I show up for work, tired sometimes, but steady. I still crave on hard nights. Addiction doesn't vanish. It waits. But now I know what I stand to lose, and I choose not to hand it over. The bottle almost took everything from me. My family, my health, my life. But I fought back, and I'm still here.